How you guys doing? It's Seb here. In this episode I'm going to walk you through the best controller setting for PES 2018 on PS4. What you will have a massive advantage if you practice what I call it the hawk grip. Once you change these settings, it will take effect whether you play online, offline, myClub, etc. So we're going to go through it. I'm going to show you the best setting regarding your controller setting and different grips as well. We're going to explain that, and then I'm going to mention each setting and why you should choose them. Now, first thing you want to do, obviously, on the main menu, you go to Options, or you go to Extras and then Options. Personal data settings, you click on the first one. You can rename it as you like, your name or whatever. Just name it as you like. Button configuration, we're gonna get to that at the end because there's more I want to talk about it. Cursor change, always use the unassisted. It's more for offline. Online, it will not give you that option. So online, you have assisted or semi-assisted. Now, as a PES veteran for years and in the professional gaming for PES League, you know, people who make a living out of playing PES, they always choose semi-assisted. We always use semi-assisted because we want to have the freedom to manually select our defense with the right stick. You can switch your cursor with the right stick or L1. Right stick seems to be the better option and a quicker option, so we can select a defender manually, override what the AI is doing for us. So semi-assisted, always semi-assisted. Next, player indicator. This is a new feature that's been implemented to the game. A lot of people prefer it on, a lot of people doesn't prefer it. I personally tried the on and off, and I can't decide which one to go for. So you can comment down below which one you prefer. Obviously, what it does, if you leave it on, you will see a kind of transparent cursor. While you are already on a player, you will see a transparent cursor on the next player that you will switch to. So if you think that suits you, that's what you want, go for it. If not, turn it off. I personally right now turn it off because I mean, right now this video has been uploaded around end of September, and online there is some cursor issues, but we've seen it from official PES. They tweeted about it. They will patch that issue with the next update, which is going to be with the data pack. So if you have cursor issues, this will be patched. Next, cursor type. This is what you want on top of your player. If you leave it on, you will just see a little arrow. If you leave it controller number, shows the controller number. Username, that will show your PSN. Normally I use username if I play co-op, so I know who's who. And generally, personal data name, that will show your personal data name, like mine is PESEP. I normally use player names, so you will have the player names on top of each player, which allow me to do so. And obviously in the game there are nameplates at the bottom. You can have both on, or you can leave the nameplate on. I will make another video regarding the nameplate, because I do have a video regarding how to change the game mentality and how to change the advanced instructions and the tutorial about advanced instruction. So that's going to be another video. So I choose player name. When it comes to pass support, obviously pass level 1 you get less assist, more freedom. Pass support 2 is in between 3 and 1. Pass support 3, it's more, you get a lot of assist. It's good if you play crossing, a crossing game. But the disadvantage you will have, it will affect your through balls or L1 triangles in a way. You know, good players, they know how these things work and they know how to defend it. If you're going to use pass support 3, it's only good to get the ball out of your own half quickly, bang, 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 and if you play a lot of crossing game. Otherwise, if you use pass support 3, you need to do a lot of manual passing. You can actually, even if you use pass support 3, you can overwrite it by doing a manual pass. All you have to do, hold L2 on your PS4 button and make a pass or shoot or anything you want. When you hold L2, you overwrite everything. Everything will be manual. You can see the power bar, it shows orange. Anyway, the pass support I recommend for online, especially for myClub, is pass support level 2. Why? Because on myClub there's a lot of factors that could affect your game regarding the managers, leadership, team spirit, player levels, etc. And the other advantage that will give me is that I don't need to restrict my matchmaking to the similar pass support, because when you search for an opponent, if it search more than 1 minute, you will get matched against anyone. So if you are using pass support 1 and you get matched against someone who's using pass support 2 or 3, you will have a disadvantage. He will be able to do quick passing in a split seconds while you have to kinda take your time. So if you're a position game player, if you're a player who build up with patience, which is essential on PES 18, I would say go past support level 1. But if you're gonna go past support level 1, make sure to restrict your matchmaking setting into similar pass support. And don't worry, this whole matchmaking setting, it will show up as soon as you go for a match. Just don't skip it and pay attention to it. So in general, I recommend pass support level 2. Personally, I use network restriction, so I will get matched up against the same region. I use network restriction 3, 4, or 5. So I don't want to have too much restriction to matchmaking. It will take longer. So I recommend pass support 2. Through ball and shot type, I will leave it to basic. If you're going to use advanced, then make sure to spend hours and hours or even week to train, to master, and then go for that. When I play against friends, you know, for fun, I do use advanced shooting because it gives you more freedom. But for online, basic, or you have an advantage unless you've mastered it. So that's what I would recommend, basic. However, if you hold L2, you can do a manual shot, but you have to know the directions. And I have a video regarding that as well. It could be uploaded by now, or if not, it will be. Directional guide. This is basically when you do a manual pass, a manual shot, an arrow shows up. I will leave that on so people will see when I do something manual. Targeting guide, I don't need that personally unless you are new in PES. You can keep that on. Positioning guide, I don't need that one either, because when you do a trigger run, you know, send a player for a run, a little shock of an arrow shows up. I personally don't like that. Auto feint on or off. Now, if you want quick, effective skills and feints for online, use on. If you want some show off, showboating, turn it to off. Now you can still showboat with the on one. A lot of people mistranslate the on and off. You know, they say, oh, if his auto feint is on, that means it's easier. You know, you can just do it as easy as you know, even if you're a beginner. I don't agree with that, because when it comes to the skills and feints, it's all about timing it and when to do which skill and where. So it's still not that easy. But I like to use it on because I normally do, like, I have a video about the top 5 effective skills. I made a video for PES 2017. You can watch it. The button inputs are exactly the same. Master those 5 top effective skills for online. Practice with it in free training, and you will thank me later. Slide in, I use semi-auto. You can use assisted, but the AI will do crazy tackles for you. You can turn it off as well if you don't want the AI to do it. But a lot of people, especially for online gaming, they do use semi-assisted. You will get a little bit of a help. Teammate control, we always use assisted. What does that mean? If on PES, you know, when you hold L1 and you flick the right stick, you can send a teammate to make a run. Now, on assisted, that teammate will only make a straightforward run. If you choose manual, you can make that player to run sideways, backward, however you want. But if you use manual, that means you are controlling 2 players at the same time. The player that you are on and the player you are sending him for the run. So while you're using the left stick controlling the player that you're on, with the right stick you can control the player who's making a run, whether to make him go sideways, left, right, up and down. But that is too much in online, especially on myClub, so I'll leave it assisted. So here we are, guys. This is the best controller setting for PES 2018, whether you play myClub, Master League, etc. Feel free to comment down below if you disagree with any of these, or if this is exactly your setting, or it's any of these settings that you have good experience or bad experience, and whatever I explained, you know, comment down below and share your opinion. Now, before we end the video, I want to talk about the command configuration. As I said in this section, you can customize your controller whatever you're comfortable with. If you're coming from FIFA, you can change the button layout exactly the way it works in FIFA. But there are different grips that I want to talk about in general. Normally, this was like a mix between obviously and normally. Noviously. That's not even a word. It is now. So it is fine the way it is if you're a long-term PES veteran, or you know, you played PES your whole life. But I want to talk about different grips in the game. PES 2018, it's completely about patience and build-up and dribbling based gameplay. You can't play PES 2018-17 style where you rush your defense, play aggressive and do quick pass and bang bang. It may work in certain ways, but it's not consistent. Against good players, you can rush or you get punished. So because PES 2018 is more about build up and patience and play slow and not abuse the run button, you know, the R1. I did it as well. The first time I streamed PES 2017, 18, I was playing terrible because I still had PES 17 system in me, you know. And I played horrible. It was on a live stream. I'm not ashamed of it. When I make a mistake, it's out there, you know. So there are different grips, right? I'm gonna make this simple. Basically, normally we hold a controller like this, right? My cigarette finger. We hold the controller like this. Those two fingers are here. This is a basic grip. Now, what you will have a massive advantage if you practice what I call it the hawk grip. Boom! All these fingers are here. It's like driving, you know. You press on the gas, you accelerate, you stop, you press on the brake, and it is the same thing because that is your manual input. If you want to do a manual shot, manual pass, that is your cursor changer. That is your pace control running, and that is your close control, which have a massive impact of you making a sudden stop or doing jink and run and then a speed burst. Or when you're in a full speed, defenders chasing you, you do that sudden stop and you roll back, you roll sideways. Or when you are one-on-one with the goalkeeper, you're in a full speed, you make a sudden stop and you do a ball rollover to the left or right and you finish. I do that a lot, you see it. So this is not something from going to this grip, you can't just do that and go online and beast out. It needs a lot of practice. Play in the free training, play against your friends online friendlies and try to do that. For me personally, I am not jumping from basic into full hawk grip. It's going to be hard for me. Right now, I am practicing half a hawk grip. So basically, I've got those two fingers here. Because when you are sprinting with the R1, what I do normally, when I'm sprinting, I hold R1 and R2. When I need to make a sudden stop, I basically let go of R1 and I will have that sudden stop. So R1 and R2 both pressed and I am running with the ball, and what I do, I let go of the R1, I am still holding R2 and I use the left stick to drag back or go sideways. That is really important, and once you master it, you will see how effective it is. So for that reason, I came up with something that is gonna make me stop using the R1 button too much, because that's how the game works, that's how the AI works. A lot of people use the sprint button a lot, especially in their own half. Normally, yeah, you want to get out of your own half quickly. Once you're out of your own half, you don't need the sprint button that much. There's a difference if you want to, if you're countering an opponent from, if you're countering your opponent from a set piece, etc. Obviously, there are situations you need to run, get into a space, whether it's a through ball, whether it's a counter, etc. But when the game, when you are building up deep, you got the ball, the opponent's all over you, he's figuring you out, etc. Try not to use the sprint button too much, only using when there's a space run into. Don't try to go full speed. However, there are certain players like Messi, they are good on the ball. Full speed dribbling with Messi is good. If you're good with that, if you know the opponent's rushing or if the opponent's not coming at you, yeah, there are certain situations you can go full pace speed dribbling. But I'm talking about general inconsistency for you to be comfortable to play even against better players than you. There is nothing wrong getting spanked 5-0, 4-0, etc. You have to play against people who are better than you, so you will learn. That's what the thing is. If you're gonna beat people who are not as strong as you easily, that is not really much of an achievement. You gotta beat people who are better than you, or at least in your same level. So for that reason, these tips are general. Whatever that you use, you work for you, that's fine. This is just a general tip, what I am suggesting personally in my experience for years playing online, and it's not just me, my opinion. I would say 70% is what I think is wrong, and sometimes 50%. The rest of it, I am active with the community a lot about professional PES players. I speak to them a lot. You know, I talk about that with the community on PES streams as well. So this is not just me saying that. It's what everybody recommends. Good players, even professional players. So any tip that I'm giving in this channel is based on the majority in general, what people use, and what I think personally out of all years, well, what I call it PESology. PESology is basically informative PES. It doesn't mean I'm the best player in the world. So back to the point. I found out the best way for me to stop abusing the pace button too much and get used to the hawk grip, or in my case, half a hawk grip. So my recommendation is to try to use a half a hog grip, because this is the basic grip. Try to practice and train to have those 2 fingers here, because it will become very useful, as I explained why. And what I found out right now, what I'm doing, I'm using custom. And the only thing I'm changing, I am switching R2 with R1. Okay? So everything else is exactly the same. So that means I will get into a habit once my R1 is no longer a pace button. And plus, R1 is very easy. It's very easy to press it. So I'm always like spamming that R1 button in attack and defense. In most cases, especially when I'm not focused. So when you switch your R2 with R2 with R1, that means your R1 button, where your fingers constantly on it, even with the basic grip, you'll be able to get used to not use the run button too much, and you'll be able to master the dribbling, to use the close control, jink and run. The jink and run is basically when you hold the close control button, you go backwards, sideways, and then you double tap the pace button, just a sudden change of pace, or you wrong foot your defender. I mean, dribbling is very simple, especially if you're a footballer. You gotta read your opponent's body language, which areas is more likely you're gonna dribble him. And I use the right stick a lot to dip the ball, because if somebody's doing a standing tackle, you want to dip the ball a little bit. His feet is gonna go high and then low. It's not gonna be backward. When defenders normally intercept, they don't have their foot on the ground. When they're trying to intercept you, they're not gonna lift their feet to intercept you. As normally, basically, your feet's on the ground, you go up and then down. That's how we try to intercept. In general, unless the defender's figuring you out, you're doing a lot of dip dribbling. So, what do you guys think about this suggestion? You know, switching your R1 with an R2. That means the easy button, R1, is gonna be your close control button, where you can do close control and you know, feints as well at the same time. This is what I figured out the best way for you to try to use the jink and run and the close control and the ball rollback sideways, and make that sudden change of pace, sudden stop, especially when you are running full speed and the defenders all over you. A lot of people, when they defend, you know, they will use the pace button and X to pressure you. They pressure you with the AI in most cases. A lot of people do that. So when you make that sudden change, it's super effective. You're gonna send a player for a hot dog, and against the goalkeeper, a simple ball rollover, boom, finish it. So comment down below if you tried these tips, especially the custom one. Tell me about the experience. Has it affected your gameplay? Do you think it's better? Are you already a hog grip, or a half a hog grip, or a standard grip? And comment down below. You know, this is not just about me telling you what I think. It's your opinion matters as well. I would love the feedback from you as well, guys. So this is my recommendation, but you don't need to custom your setting. The only reason why I'm switching R1 with R2, so I will get into the habit not to use the pace button too much. PES 18 gameplay, it's all about patience and dribble-based gameplay, especially in your attack. And in the meantime, if my R1 is my close control button, I can get used to doing jockey and defending. I mean, we don't have running jockey on PES 2018. We only have stationary jockey. And it is effective, especially in the box, especially against people. A lot of people dribble a lot. I mean, anyone who's not even that good at dribbling can actually dribble and be effective. Dribbling is very overpowered right now. I don't know if they're going to patch it after the data pack. We don't know about that. So comment down below, let me know what you think. Whether you're going to custom your controller, switching R1 with R2, or you're just going to stick to the basic one. Try to go from your basic grip into a hog grip. If that's too hard, try half a hog grip. So hashtag Pesology, hashtag hog grip on Twitter. Let me know how you get on. Hope you enjoyed the video. Support this video by simply liking it and then share it on social media, Reddit, whatever you would think it's deserved to be shared. And make sure to subscribe if you're subscribed already. Hit that bell button to stay notified for my upcoming tutorials. As always, every year when the new PES is out, I start with some tutorials and there's going to be more gameplay. I've been Sep. Until next time. Ciao for now.